Welcome to Spyder Auto. Today we are making a headlight installation video for years 2011 to 2014 Dodge Charger with factory HID headlights. Tools needed for this install is a long flathead, 1/4 inch long screwdriver or ratchet, T15 Torx, T20 Torx, 7mm socket, 8mm socket, 10mm socket, angle pick, and a panel popper. Now let's get started. So here we have the vehicle on a lift, just to give you guys a better view of which bolts to remove. So first, let's start by removing 6 7mm bolts, securing the bottom of the bumper. Next, moving to the driver's side of the bumper, we're going to remove 2 plastic push pins, securing the side of the bumper. Next, you're going to get your panel popper. Pry the wear liner open so that we can access this 10mm bolt here. So go ahead and remove it. Next, we're going to carefully peel open the liner here, and we're going to lift up and over the bumper to release it from the clip. And then from here, we're going to disconnect the fog light. So here's the fog light connector. Just press down on the tab and disconnect. Now repeat the same process to the passenger side. Okay, after opening your hood, we're going to remove the radiator shroud. We're going to start with the left side. Just lift up, carefully peel it off. Do the same to the right side. Next, we're going to remove 2 plastic push pins. And after that, we're going to remove 2 7mm bolts. So now that the bumper is free, we're going to carefully lift up, grab it by the sides, carefully pull it straight back, and set it to the side. This next step, we're going to remove 4 8mm bolts securing the headlight. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Let's start with the bottom ones. You want to hold your headlight when removing the last bolt. Carefully unseat your headlight. Now from here, we're going to disconnect our parking and turn signal, high beam and low beam, and our side marker. So first we're going to start with this one. We're going to slide back the red clip to unlock it. Press down on the tab and disconnect. This one here, we're going to slide back this red clip. And we're going to press down on the tab, disconnect that. This one, we're going to press on the tab, disconnect. Now before we install our new headlight, there's a few things we need to transfer over from our old headlight to the new headlight. So first things first, you want to make sure you have something clean and soft to set the headlight lens down on. So go ahead and grab your old headlight, carefully set it down on the lens. Let's start by removing the bumper bracket guide. So we're gonna remove 1, 2, and 3 T20 screws. Going to remove the bracket, carefully set it aside. Next, we're going to grab the parking turn signal bulb from this socket, turn it counterclockwise to open it up. Careful, you don't want to grab the bulb with your fingers. Make sure you have some gloves on to prevent any oils from getting on the bulb. Carefully set the bulb aside. Going to put the socket back on, turn it clockwise to lock it. Next, we're going to grab the side marker bulb socket along with the bulb. Carefully set that aside. After that, we're going to open up these 2 covers to have a better view of inside the headlight. And from here, we're going to uninstall the HID bulb. Go ahead and carefully unplug it. Turn the bulb counterclockwise. Carefully set the bulb aside. Go ahead and grab the bulb bracket. Not going to be needing that. Go ahead and put it back on the old headlight. And from here, we're going to uninstall the HID ballast. We're going to start by removing 1, 2, 3, 4 T15 screws. Carefully lift up on the ballast. Turn it over to the back. We're going to disconnect these 2 connectors. Go ahead and grab your angle pick. You're going to carefully lift up on these tabs to release. Carefully disconnect the connector. Go ahead and set your ballast aside. Next, we're going to pull this harness all the way through. This connects to the bulb. Set that aside. Go ahead and put your covers back on. Set your old headlight to the side. Go ahead and bring over your Spyder headlight. Go ahead and remove the covers. Grab your HID harness. We're going to feed this part through here, and it'll come out through this here. So here's your connector. Okay. Now what we're gonna do is unlock these clips. Open it up. Carefully bring your bulb over. Make sure you don't touch the bulb. We're going to carefully seat it in place this way. We're going to plug it in that way. Make sure it's nice and snug. Go ahead and bring the clips over. Lock it in place. Go ahead and grab your harness. Go ahead and plug in your bulb. I'm going to put the cover back on. Make sure it's nice and sealed. Do the same to the other one. Go ahead and have your connectors ready. Bring over the ballast. Go ahead and plug it in. Make sure everything's secure. Go ahead and seat your ballast in place. Line up the holes. Go ahead and reinstall your 4 screws. Carefully tighten down your screws. Next, we're going to install our turn signal bulb. Turn this counterclockwise. Go ahead and open it up. Go ahead and grab your bulb. Plug it in. Reinstall the bulb socket. Turn it clockwise to lock it in place. Make sure it's nice and tight. Next, we're going to grab our side marker socket. Make sure the gasket seal is intact to prevent any moisture. Turn it clockwise to lock it in place. Next, we're gonna set these wires aside. Make sure that you don't get pinched by the bumper bracket guide. Go ahead and carefully set it. Line it up with the holes. Go ahead and reinstall your T20 screws. Now we're ready to install our Spyder headlight. Okay, let's go bring over our Spyder headlight. Gonna plug in our parking turn signal. Make sure it's secure. Slide the red clip in place to lock it. Just plug in our high beam, low beam. Click it in place. Slide the gray clip in to lock it. Grab the side marker connector. Go ahead and plug in the side marker. Make sure that's secure. Now we're going to carefully seat our headlight in place. let's reinstall our 4 8mm screws. Let's start with this top corner one. Before you tighten it down all the way, you want to make sure it's lined up with the body. I'm going to reinstall the last 3. And now that we're finished installing the driver's side headlight, let's repeat the same process to the passenger side. After installing your headlights, let's bring the bumper over. Tuck the bottom liner in first. Line up the top with the holes. Next, we're gonna reinstall our 2 plastic push pins, securing the top of the bumper. After that, we're gonna reinstall our 2 7mm screws. Next, we're going to reinstall the radiator shroud. Let's start with the right side. Go ahead and carefully clip it in place, and then reinstall the left side. Go ahead and clip that in place. Moving to the driver's side of the bumper, go ahead and open up your bumper, plug in your fog light, click it in place, make sure it's secure. Go ahead and line up your bumper, clip it to the liner. Reinstall your 10mm bolt. Go ahead and tighten that down. And then reinstall your 2 push pins. Now that we're finished with the installation, let's close the hood and test the headlight functions.